I just went to war on this. I just stopped recording. The whole YouTube segment is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a preface to damage done. I messed it up. What's going on today, YouTube? Today, the entire video is supposed to be on how to install a front mount intake, like DIY, like start to finish. Well, we've had some issues, and I gotta salvage this video somehow. Put in perspective some mistakes were made, and we have a new heat exchanger because I punctured it. So these are lessons learned. We're gonna get into it. So while I was trying to cut the air dam, finally got that figured out. Bet you're wondering why the radiator shroud is all out and everything. Well, when I was trying to do it with everything on, cut it, long story short, punctured my heat exchange, bro. Golly. So we definitely got casualties, and it's expensive. While we're in motion, one, this car is currently immobile, more or less. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the installation. If you ever have any worries about getting through this this air dam, just do what I did. Take the stuff off, the shroud off, and cut it in two. Give you enough ample space, get some snips away from the radiator so you don't make the same mistake as me. But these are things that no one talks about because it's embarrassing. Well, guess what? I don't care. I fucked up so y'all don't have to. That's the theme of the channel, transparency, you know, mistakes involved, and I've never had a freak accident like this, so it is what it is. A lot of people are starting to just cut these straight out. Makes for an easier installation and less room for error, so I would recommend that. These are pretty big diameter tubes, so it does give you a little bit more wiggle room to get the stuff through as you need. I would recommend taking off the radiator cover just to give you some additional wiggle room. So this is fragile. I mean, we saw what happened for the heat exchanger. So first thing you're gonna want to do is take this off. This is imperative for bumper alignment, but they make it easy to get it back on. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4 torque screws. You just lift that up, and you can see that they're kind of like a cross type setup here. So you'll be able to seat it back in there, get good alignment. You do need to take this off. It's recommended to take that off just so you get a little bit more wiggle room. So again, this has like an outline of where dust or whatever, depending on the age of your M3, where you can really get alignment, but this will help facilitate alignment as well. So putting that off to the side, I want to take this off, this brace off. Got some bolts up here, some torque screws right here, Torx right here, and you just slide this cord out the way. That is the trunk release cable. Remove this one as well, and then you're free to move this out the way. So to kind of give y'all an idea of how to remove these brackets, that's 1, 2, 3. They're held down. Once you remove that top bolt, they're pressure fitted by like a ball socket. So smooth that out the way. Gives you a lot of room to get that through. And what I did, it is a tight fit. I'm not gonna remove these because I got them where I want them to, but this is very soft plastic. Basically what you can do is get a file to file this down just to kind of allow it to seat at that angle. And you can see this side is before shaving, this side is after. It's a lot of extra plastic on here, so I can shave it as needed. Went ahead, hit it with the file, and then sanded it down just to make it smooth. I can rub this with my finger without issue or injury. So what's the importance of that? Well, the CSF, if you have a CSF or an oversized cooler, is gonna push it out just a tad bit more. So a few millimeters will give you a lot of room, but this does flex. So that being said, I'll shave this down more as needed. So another trick to get this off, you got 2 options. You can, and keep in mind, this will not be here. This is what you want to do before this gets here, obviously, but get some snips or some tough scissors, cut it straight back. And what you're gonna need to do, this down here, not sure if you can see it unfortunately, but this is all one piece. So this right here, the same piece right here. You are going to need to snip that to make it into two. So what that allows is this dam still is structurally or functionally sound at the top. There's some push clips right here that you pull out. And once you remove this radiator shroud, you can pull it straight out and then push it back once you're done. So this does make it for a lot easier installation of these tubes, the filters, and just fitting overall. So one thing about cutting straight back, I know a lot of people kind of is off-putting to some because you kind of disrupt the functionality of the dam. Well, not really. It's already tight and there's limited clearance and limited airflow getting through that pipe anyway. Not any, but limited. Keyword limited. So what you can do is preserve the cutout that you made, and given this is too long, but you can fabricate this back on there to extend the dam and give that a little bit more functionality to it. What I'll probably do, this is jank to some, it's gonna work for me. Get some waterproof duct tape and just put it right there. You're not gonna see it, but it is gonna keep that where it belongs to extend that dam to restore that functionality. Another thing I would recommend, make sure that you get the long tube first, because there's limited clearance. That's the clamp bolt down there. This inlet is plastic, so if I experience any boost leaks or anything, I'm gonna just tighten that down a little bit, but I don't wanna crush that plastic for obvious reasons. Once that's all set, go ahead, run this. This is the easiest one. Now, I don't see too many people talking about this clamp that Project Gamma gives you, but it's a little hook right here. And what that allows you to do is use an existing bolt. It pulls around and it basically lifts this to give it some structure. What that allows is a little bit more clearance for this pulley on the alternator to run without issue. This will flex a little bit, and you just want to avoid that from happening. And it does pull it off of the AC lines as well. Another thing to keep in mind, there's a lot of fragility underneath this hood. So this line right here, and this is actually the reservoir that leaked for the heat exchanger, pretty much just hangs. So it's thin. I don't think it'd be a hard fix to get it, but avoid paying more money like how I have. So once you have everything taken out, these filters, and you can kind of see the line of the shroud, how it fits. It is a tight fit. So that being said, you don't want the filters recessed all the way into the tube. Makes it for a nightmare to get out anyway. It's enough room for alignment. So where my finger is, that's about the end of the cone. This is metal. Feel free to clamp that down relatively tight. Shouldn't be anything. Don't get over, carried away or anything, but you should be good. So the next step is we're gonna get this CSF heat exchanger installed. Just move forward with my mistakes. And it's an expensive mistake, by the way. Go ahead and lock in for more G80 content. And of course, the daily driver, the LS430 content still on the channel. Appreciate y'all watching. Till next time.